So welcome back to the Remote No Pressure Podcast. And me and Bill are dying laughing because what happens is you have to sync up the audio with the video. And every week Bill does this clap thing, kind of like what would you call it? Like a walrus?
Yeah, you can say it looks like a walrus. Yeah.
And I just can't, I laugh every time you do it. And I got to be serious because this is professional work we're doing. People are counting on it, and I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm just
laughing at the motion.
Yeah, and I think that was the intro to last week's
2 weeks
YouTube.
Ago.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So if you go to the YouTube page 2 weeks ago, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about because we'll probably edit it out of this episode because it's just a sync mechanism to sync our audio with the video.
Audio with video, yep. And just like the clapper when you see it in movies.
Yeah. But I will honestly say this, Bill. Last week, we did an extended episode of just you and me.
Uh-huh.
And we put that whole episode out on YouTube. Dude, you did a great job syncing everything up.
Yeah, we had a lot of glitches, didn't we? In the recording process.
Dude, I appreciate that, man.
No problem.
You're really good at what you do.
Oh, thank you.
You're awesome. So, did you notice anything different about me today, Bill?
Did you get a new haircut?
I shaved my beard. It wasn't really a beard, but I always have had like a 5 o'clock shadow for the last couple of years. Uh-huh. And if you guys go to the YouTube page, I'm smiling at the camera right now. You'll see I'm fresh shaven. It's the most bizarre feeling I've ever had.
What's the occasion?
You know what happened was I let this thing get out of control. Okay.
All right.
And I haven't been to work in a few days, as you know. Some changes in my life. And I just didn't care about trimming the beard, trimming the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Well, 5 o'clock turns into 10 o'clock, and then 10 o'clock to 2 in the morning.
The next thing you know, it's 3 days later, and
I haven't showered, and I don't know. I just I just felt like, you know what? I haven't gone clean shaven in a while, and so I shaved it all off. My wife went nuts. She's like, "Don't ever do this again to me."
He said I shaved it all off. My wife went nuts.
I shaved it all off. My wife went nuts, man.
Was that a pregnant pause?
I was taking a sip of coffee at the same time. We all know that that's not true. Yeah. Dude, that's just hilarious, man. But yeah, so it's kind of weird. It's cold. I shouldn't do this in the winter time,
I used to buzz my head a couple years ago.
Really?
And I would realize like how much insulation your hair actually gives you from doing that. Yeah.
Well, when I first met you, you had hair down to your waist.
Yep, I had long hair.
Was it to your waist?
Almost. Yeah. It was
long.
Mid back. Yeah.
That's why we called you Wild Bill, dude.
That's it.
I am follically challenged up top, and I have to wear a hat in the wintertime. I just get cold.
Yeah.
I never thought really that I would be follically challenged.
It happens. It just happens.
Yeah, it's not an attractive look by any means. And I can say that because I'm a baldy. So. It's ugly, but I can say that because I'm bald.
But I can't say that because...
No, you can't. You're not one of us. You're an anti-baldite.
Whoa, that's our word.
Yeah, no, I'm not completely bald, but I'm definitely challenged.
Yeah.
Definitely challenged, and that's never a good thing, But
you ever tried just like buzzing it all off?
No, I can't. My head's not shaped for that. And then also, as if you guys have been listening to this podcast for very long, I was in a very traumatic car accident when I was 11 years old. Mm-hmm. I still walk with a limp. It just changed the course of my life. In the back of my head, I had a really bad concussion, and I had a piece of glass that went through like my head. And so there's like some scarring back there. You can't see it with my hair on. No, I don't.
But once I take my hair off.
That's bad. I don't wear a wig. I don't wear a toupee. I don't. So with my hair on, you can't see it. With my hair off, it's no.
There it is.
But no, if I shaved my head, that scar would be pretty pronounced, I think. I think I would look like, you ever see the Goonies?
Yeah.
What was the guy?
Sloth? No.
Yeah, I'd look like Sloth. I would look like Sloth. Oh. He was bald. I think I would look like him.
He had some hair, didn't he?
I think it was like random patches.
Yep.
God,
and he had the little winking ear that would just kind of, wink.
Did you ever, when you saw that movie, did you ever try to move your ears?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think every boy did.
We all did. It was like I can move my ear without touching it. I never did it. Did you know anyone who could do it?
Who could move their ear or like do that winky thing like that, the bendy?
Just move their ear.
Oh yeah, I can move my ears, but I don't want to do it on camera because I'll look ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Just ridiculous. That'll be a trout camp thing.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if you guys want to take a look at my bald look, my facial baldness, go to the YouTube page and you can see how clean shaven I am. It's pretty disgusting. So,
and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe.
yeah, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe because who doesn't want to look like an ugly middle-aged white guy every week on Monday? You know, I want to tune into that. So, well, I got some fun stuff to announce. Well, it's not really an announcement, but come in May, I think it's May the 8th. I've got to look at the calendar. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, playing for Aaron Reed's book release party.
Oh, very cool.
It's very cool. And they've asked me to play music there. So I've got to work on my set list, right? I got to dial this whole thing in. You can't show up there like a goon and not know anything.
Just fake it.
You know?
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, all of the, what is it called when you think of somebody a certain way? Not racism, but prejudice. all the
your racism
all the bald
come forward.
Like you go up there and look like a goon, and then you solidify all of the bald stereotypes.
This
like
bald guy
people,
didn't even try.
Right. It's just like these bald people coming here. Typical bald. I should have known. So I'm trying.
If I'd have known, I wouldn't even come to this.
God, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny. But anyways, I don't want to look like a goon, and I want to do a very good job for Aaron.
Yeah.
So I've been working on my set. If you guys, I think I put up a song on our Instagram this week on Monday, Monday. Some of you saw it. It was live. It deleted. So be sure to stay tuned on the Instagram. You can hear me as I'm working on the set, and I'm building it up. And then I'm also playing at White Flame Brewery on Thursday nights in Hudsonville, Michigan.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm working on my sets. So if you guys want to hang out on Thursday nights at White Flame Brewery, PM me, make sure I'm going to be there, but I'm planning on being there on Thursday nights, just working the set out. I did it randomly this last Thursday.
Oh, no kidding.
Thursday was probably one of the worst days of my life. And I told my wife, Jamie, I got to play music. It's what I do. Everything comes back to this. And so I went and played this random open mic. And I'm like, okay, I need a place to work on the set.
Mm-hmm.
And this White Flame Brewery in Hudsonville, Michigan is not very crowded.
Yeah.
And they let you play for as long as you want. So I'm thinking like, okay, work, just like a comedian would go like to a stand-up comedy place and work their sets out. I'm out here working the set out.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty excited about it, Bill.
Just take your guitar case out and throw a couple of ones in there to kind of prime the pump?
Yeah. We had Grant Broderick on here. He's a musician out of Dallas, and he puts up pictures all the time, and he's got his tip jar out there, mm-hmm. and it just says, just the tip.
Yep. Yeah, I was just going to say that, too.
And I saw that, and I just thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just the tip. I'm like, dude, I would give you a tip just for that saying right there, So, but yeah, so join me at White Flame Brewery there. And also, Bill, you're welcome to come if you want to come out. Last week, John Nesbitt came out with me because I called him last minute. And he's like, man, he's from Arkansas. He's like, man, I haven't been out in like 10 years on a weeknight. And I'm like, I know, but as I was in a band called Parts Unknown back in the early 2000s, and John was my guitar player.
I remember those days.
Yeah, those, just like, dude, we're getting the band back together. No, but it was really cool to see him, and we're very excited about Aaron's book release party.
Yeah,
and me playing a few more shows even around town, to be honest with you, Bill, I try really hard with the Fly Fishing Podcast, and I love it. I love what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But it really all goes back to songwriting for me, and I just love songwriting, and I love being part of that.
You got to write an album called Songs About Podcasting.
Songs About Podcasting. That's right. Well, I do have the Songs About Fly Fishing album, but Songs About Podcasting, that would be an instant Grammy.
I agree.
I wonder how many artists are writing songs about podcasting right now.
I haven't heard one. I haven't heard one album,
it's
one
a niche.
song.
It's a niche community.
Boom. Instant success.
Instant success. You don't have to worry about it. It's almost a guarantee. Almost a guarantee. So, in other news, we have talked a lot, Bill. You have actually introduced me.
Yes.
You have introduced me to the legend of the Dogman.
Yeah.
Would you like to remind our listeners kind of like what Dogman is?
Dogman is a northern Michigan lure. Not like a fishing lure. It's folk lure that started back in '87 when a disc jockey made up a song about just a northern Michigan legend of the Dogman, just a 7-foot tall beast, kind of like a werewolf, but it's not a werewolf. It's a Dogman.
Okay.
Kind of similar also to the Sasquatch, I believe, but completely different species. I don't know. There's no book about one or the other. I think it's a Native American thing also. If you look them up online, there's a lot of dogmen in Wisconsin also, like Briar Road is a big hot spot for them over there. But yeah, that's about it.
And it comes out the 7th year.
Comes out, according to the song, which, I don't know how many copies they sold up north. He comes out on the 7th year. So like 1987 he came out. 1997 he came out. Who knows? It could be every year and people just aren't keeping track of it until like, oh yeah, what year is it?
This is 7th year.
2017. It's high time for the Dogman to make another appearance.
Well, I think I know where he goes the other 6 years. Because Coast to Coast AM, which is one of our favorite with
reputable
George
source
Norrie,
there.
reputable source, says Dogman filmed in Texas.
I believe it.
And considering the fact that Texas is one of our biggest markets for the fly fishing podcast here, I just wanted to make everyone aware of this.
Maybe the Dogman heard the podcast and he's like, maybe I should check out Texas.
Maybe he's like, these are my people down there, in the every other year. But an odd video circulating online, which we'll post, appears to show a bipedal. Is it pedal, right? Bipedal?
Bipedal?
Bipedal.
Bipedal, I believe.
Bipedal creature of some kind lurking near a lake in Texas. And some viewers think that the strange beast could be a Dogman. So A means there's more than, it's not the Dogman, but a Dogman. So maybe he's like repopulated with
or maybe it's just the Dogman and he was on vacation.
That's what I'm thinking. He's cold up here.
There's only one. I mean, yeah.
The footage reportedly captured it 6 years ago in the city of San Benito by a fisherman named Ruben, who apparently only recently decided to share it with the world by way of the website True Horror Stories of Texas.
Sounds reputable.
Now I'm going to give, if someone can call, other than, not just call, but email me, if you know the ghost story of Bailey's Prairie in Texas. If you know that and you email me, I will email you a free decal.
Hey.
If you know the
Bigfoot decal?
Yeah, the Texas ghost story of Bailey's Prairie. Anyways, because I used to live close to there. And we used to drive through there after Astros games really late at night. And it was always scary. My dad would tell me the story. And I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. Maybe my dad made the whole thing up. Yeah, so my dad told me these stories of Bailey's Prairie and this ghost story. And I don't know if it's a dad story or if it was like a real legitimate ghost story.
Yeah. Or if it was like the story of Frozen Patty.
The story of Frozen Patty. Or there is a story that my dad made up one time about a hair horn.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. That haunted me for years. And my dad, I think, just made it up on a whim. I think what he did is, the whole ghost story with the hook hanging from the rearview mirror.
Yep.
I think he took that story and adapted it to create like a Sasquatch with a single horn.
A single horned Sasquatch, a unihorned.
A unihorn.
A unihorn squatch.
A unihorn squatch called hair horn. And dude, I really was really scared about that. I was like, are you kidding me? And I think, I don't know if he even remembers telling me the story. It was one of those that he just kind of made up,
Uh-huh.
And it really just scared the snot out of me for years. I just thought there were two things that scared me half to death as a kid. Number one, getting left behind in the rapture because of how I was raised. And the other one was because we watched these films called Thief in the Night. And as a kid, and it was all these people getting left behind in the rapture, and that scared the absolute bejesus out of me. And then the other one was this whole story of hair horn.
Hair horn.
Yeah.
Hair horn can steal your salvation.
It can. Bill, could you live in a van down by the river?
I went to the RV show last week, and I think I could.
You went to the RV show?
I did go to the RV show, yeah.
Bro, you should have let me know. I would have totally went down there. Probably not. I would have had to find sitters, and it would have been a logistical nightmare. But I really wanted to go. There's some really cool, like the teardrop ones and stuff that are like amazing, dude.
And they're cheap.
How much are they? Like $8,000?
Some of the I didn't look at the teardrop ones. I looked at the smaller ones like that are like 6 to 10. Mm-hmm. It's just some of the smaller tow behind RVs that my car can't pull that are like, man, there were some for like 20 that were like amazing. There's one that was like 10 that it's too heavy for my car, but like, wow, that had everything in it. You know, like a shower.
Really for $10,000?
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cheap, man.
Yep.
I follow, from my background and stuff, I follow a lot of financial news and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that usually before a recession, RV sales get hit first really hard. And last year they were down like 30% RV sales.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's kind of luxury item.
Yep.
You know, and so whenever recession, the canaries in the coal mine.
Yeah.
That's one of them. But anyways, so I wonder if there's some good deals on them right now.
I don't know. I also saw some that were like, $250,000 and, like buses.
Yeah.
I sat in a bus that was like $750,000.
I don't think those get hit as hard.
Yeah. I think
because people with $1 million have $1 million regardless.
That's it.
Because my brother-in-law is an engineer for one of those companies. Not Prevost, but one of those that makes $1 million buses or whatever. Yeah. It's a division of Winnebago, and he's like, yeah, we just aren't affected by recessions like the other ones are, those cheaper, entry levels. But this week on the Remote No Pressure podcast, we have a very interesting couple, Trent and Janelle, from the Bum Diaries is what they're called. Not bum like your butt, but like like they live literally.
I wasn't even thinking of that. Why would you say
well, we have British listeners. We have people in the UK there.
British Isles.
And so we want to make sure they understand that. That when we said bum, I'm not talking about your butt. Although that would be an interesting diary for a proctologist.
Would you take a glance?
No, I don't think I want to see bums. Like a diary of bums, because you never know. Like, oh, that one's all right. Oh, God. You just never know what's coming.
You should see a doctor.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like maybe a proctologist bum diary.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's not like that at all.
That sounds like that could be a great sitcom. A proctologist bum. He's homeless during the night, but during the day he's a successful proctologist. I don't know.
Yeah, that's hilarious, actually. So you're a bum. That's a doctor. So you're a
Dr. Bum.
You're a bum doctor. So by night you are a bum. And then by day, you are a successful proctologist.
Just not good with your money, huh?
Yeah.
Or there's not much money in proctology.
Oh, no, but it's funny, before we move on, I did read an article one time about this guy who went from homeless to CEO, like literal homeless, like he would jump the trains and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he loved that lifestyle. And so he became a CEO and became like super, super successful. And then he would disappear for like a month at a time and make himself homeless and jump trains and like go back into the lifestyle.
That's crazy.
Because
that'd be rough.
Yeah, but he loved the lifestyle. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
But anyways, this couple is neither bums or proctologists really, but they are bums as in they live in a van down by the river, and they have so for a while. If you guys have been following them, they have a very successful following on Instagram, which we have their links in our show notes. But they're an amazing fly fishing couple who he had this rare defect as a kid, as a young man. I think he was 20 or 21, almost died. And he woke up and he's like, you know what? I'm going to live my life completely different now. I'm going to do whatever I want and have fun. And he met this girl here in Michigan. They're from Michigan, which is really cool. And they have made a life for themselves traveling around, and they bartend and do just enough to save up enough money to go fishing for 6 months.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Now, in all fairness, though, we do have a disclaimer. I'm going to post, because before you guys tell your wife you're going to go move in a van, outside online, did an article by Chris White. He did an article said, "We tried to do van life right. It broke us down." And it's really a lot of the van life, like why it's so hard on a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to really know each other to be living in close quarters like that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that article up there just so you guys, because it's interesting. And that does apply to the whole episode. So welcome to the podcast. Let's light the fire. All right. Well, today on the Remote No Pressure podcast, I'm very excited to talk to Trent and Janelle. Thank you guys so much for hanging. You guys are from the Bum Diary there on the Instagram, and I really appreciate you taking time with me.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Man. Now, we do have a mutual friend, Pam. Pam, I think it's Headland is her last name.
Oh, my God. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, actually,
wow.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Super weird.
Yeah, I forgot that's how we first connected.
Yeah, actually, Janelle reached out to me. And then I see Pam at a food show because that's kind of my day job, And she's like, "We've got a mutual friend." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I see the Bum Diary. And then, like, the next food show, she brings me your book, Trent, 1 year. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So did you draw that picture of the heart on the front? Or is that...
No, that was a friend that I had. She did it for me one night.
That's awesome, man. It's great.
Yeah, she really captured the Tetons in that photo.
Yeah. Now, is this for sale anywhere, or is it just?
No, it was when I was young and dumb. Like 10 years ago, I thought I was gonna write a one-hit wonder, and it was way harder than I thought. It was a fun little project. But Pam is like a loyal. She's like best friends with my mom, so I think she's like the only one still carrying that book around everywhere. So that's pretty crazy that you saw that book.
Yeah,
you can't find that book. You can't find the book anywhere.
I'm actually holding it in my hand right now.
God, no way.
That's crazy.
This is your one-hit wonder right here. Now's the time.
That's crazy. You're holding on to it, my man.
We're all young and dumb at one time.
Yeah.
I'm a musician. I've got some albums that I was actually kind of proud of 10 years ago, but now they're not published anywhere. So
yeah, that's exactly what that book is, man.
But it is it's self-written, it's self-edited, it's self-everything. But the story, though, you are onto something. And
that's what I thought too. So
tell me why you thought that.
I mean, for brand new listeners, I'm 30 years old now. When I was 21, I had a pretty serious heart attack. Had to have heart surgery. I went on one of those quests where you wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, and I failed. So then I hitchhiked back out to where my heart's always been, Yellowstone National Park. Worked in Yellowstone. That's how I got into fly fishing. And so I had this grand idea to move to an island in the middle of Seattle and write a book in the wintertime. And it was that's how that book ended up in your hand, which is crazy. I didn't think you were going to bring up that book.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get started. Let's get started because I got some questions that I kind of pulled from the book, and I don't know how far you are separated from this particular time in your life.
Yeah.
But you're 21 years old. And you wake up in a hospital bed.
Yep.
Before that happened to you, and Janelle, believe me, we'll talk to you as well. But right now, I'll talk to Trent. Like, before you were 20, before that happened, before your massive heart attack at the age of 21.
Yep.
What were your plans in life? Where did you see your future?
I was like a college burnout, man. I had a full ride to college as a cross country and track runner. So I was getting college paid for, and so I really didn't value going to class. And I was just a college athlete. And then when I had the heart attack, it knocked me out of college. Then I realized I wasn't getting any more money, and I just didn't really have a passion. I just knew I loved biology. I just knew I loved being outdoors, and so. Yeah, I was just kind of a college. I was just training and running. I don't know what I was going to do in life. Probably be a biology high school teacher. I think that was like the easy path that was laid in front of me, pretty much.
So like a biology teacher / track coach.
Yeah, that's probably would have been my life. I probably been overweight now. Been that guy who's starting to bowl. That probably would have been my life, man. Yeah, that would have been a high school teacher. I mean, I had gotten good grades and all that, but yeah, that's what I thought I wanted. Which is crazy. Yeah, my
coach in high school was our earth science teacher, coach, and he wore those double knit shorts and sat on a stool.
Yep.
So
I would have been the weirdo. I would have been the weird old man. I probably have a couple kids right now. It's crazy how life works. I actually say that heart attack was like when my life started, because it was a whole new life for me after that.
It is, and I had this conversation with Aaron Reed, who is an author down in Texas, and we were talking about in every religion, in every story that's anything worth anything, and Joseph Campbell spoke about this in his mythology book, but there's always like this death, burial, and kind of like a rebirth, talking about the rebirth. And I'm trying not to get too esoteric here, but you're talking about how your life started over. You were reborn after this heart attack. Did you feel relieved, or did you feel more anxious when you woke up? I mean, did you feel anxious to try to get everything you could crammed into life?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, man. I woke up in the hospital and I was scared shitless. I was kind of like there was a lot there was the year before that, I had just spent my first year in Yellowstone, and so that really opened my eyes to a whole new world. Then I got back and I was in college and had the heart attack. And when I woke up in that hospital, I remember telling myself, like, the second I got it was pretty stupid now, but back in the day, right when I got out of the hospital, I threw away my cell phone. I wrote my mom and dad a letter and said, you guys probably won't see me for a while. And I literally went out to the front road of my house and I put my thumb up and I just caught a truck going south. And I didn't talk to my parents for like a year or something. I didn't talk to anybody. Nobody. I mean, I literally walked out. My doctors were pissed. I mean, yeah, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to go explore. Because I read too many books like on the road and stuff. I just read like all those romantic books, and just, I don't know if those are good for young kids to be reading.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good thing that you're bringing up. I had an author on here a couple weeks ago, and he's talking about his wanderlust, and his journey for this truth. And Keith McCafferty is his name. And he writes adventure novels, or mystery and murder novels and fly fishing novels and stuff. And I asked him, is that restlessness a blessing or a curse? Your lifestyle, you guys are traveling a lot, but there are times that I'm sure you get annoyed with each other in tiny spaces. And even though you love each other or whatever, I'm sure there are times and you like, why am I doing this? Just like anyone else who's working a regular job. They probably sometimes wonder why am I doing. I'm assuming that. Is that the case, or are you just like?
Yeah,
absolutely.
There are plenty of moments like that, my man. Like just this past summer, living in a van in Montana, there was a couple mornings where we woke up and we're like, "Why are we still living in a van? What are we doing?"
Yeah,
but it makes it worthwhile.
Spending every single day and every single minute together in such a small space, too. Yeah, for sure. As much as you love that person, sometimes, you get frustrated and you have those issues that you have to overcome as a couple and as individuals. But, definitely when you're living in a van, that is a make or break for any relationship, I feel like.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it reminds me when my wife and I were dating, before we even got engaged, her parents invited us up to the Pier Marquette to go canoeing. And my wife has never really canoed before, and I'll be really honest with you, at the time especially, I haven't canoed since 8th grade probably, and so I was 23 at the time, and we put in there, my father-in-law, he puts the cooler in their canoe, and I'm like, you can put it in mine, Little did I know, within like 10 minutes, we tipped the canoe over, my girlfriend and I, who's now my wife.
Yeah.
And she's pissed, and I'm pissed.
Oh, no.
And the beer's gone.
The beer's gone.
I'm like just so angry. Like, we got stranded in the middle of the river. Because she's grabbing onto this log because she's scared. I'm like, let go of the freaking river. Let's go. Just yelling at each other. And it was our first real fight, And then got off the river, and I'm like, what just happened? But it's like those times, and we've been married for 15 years. We loved each other then, we love each other now, but that time it was like, are we gonna break up? Like, this is an awful thing. And I'm sure you guys, not necessarily gonna break up, but I'm sure you guys have had several of those moments, like you said, waking up, why are we still living in a van? But I'm sure you guys have had.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, there's moments that still stick out like that, man. That are just like, that was probably the closest that we ever came to breaking up.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Trent and I, when we really first started dating and we moved down to the Keys for the first time, we were living not out of a van, but we were living out of a Ford Explorer, even smaller than a van.
It was not even a van.
That was...
Yeah, that was like and when Janelle had just started dating, we had been dating like a couple months, and like that's when Janelle looked at me. That's actually when the Bum Diaries started, but she looked at me, and I was just like, if this woman stays with me, like she's living out of a 93 Explorer in the back with the if she stays with me,
futon mattress,
looking for a bartending job, and I was like, if she stays with me, this woman's for me for the rest of my life. Yeah, that was. We grew up a lot. We got a van now.
We got a van.
We're good now.
I just didn't know. I wasn't going to ask a lot of the questions, Trent, but I didn't know if maybe you were like one of those secret princes off of. Maybe she thought you were a secret prince off like the Hallmark Channel, where you act like a pauper for a long time, and then you're like, "No, just kidding. I'm really rich. Be my princess." Maybe she was thinking that, and now she's realizing that this is not true. This is not going to happen at this point.
It's so funny that you say that, because I think it's the total opposite of that. So Trent and I met bartending together, and where we worked, the dress code, it was like a casual fine dining place. So as a bartender or server, you looked nice for the job.
Right.
So Trent comes in, hair slicked back, suspenders, button down shirt, like nice khaki pants, and I was like, dang, this guy looks really put together. And when we first started talking, I will never forget, I remember we were like walking up, we used to have to walk up this hill like after work to get to our vehicles. And I remember walking up to his Ford Explorer, discolored hood, like open the door. There was a futon mattress in the back with a mini fridge and a TV. And I was like, what the hell is this? And like life jackets and like fishing rods. And I was
my gosh.
This is not
Janelle,
what I expected at all.
Janelle thought I was she's like, I thought you were going to drive like an Audi or something. And you walked up to that piece of shit truck. And I was like, yeah. So, but to be fair, though, where we were working, it was on a lake, and she lived on the lake, so I thought she was like one of the rich millionaire girls, and so we both kind of duped each other.
Yes.
we both kind of duped each other.
For sure.
Well, it's good that y'all are still together, and I was going to ask you that question, how you two met, but how long have y'all been together? When did that happen, where you gave her an escort out to your Ford Explorer?
So we've been together for about 4 years now.
Okay.
And, like I said, we were just bartending together at the local bar by my house, and Trent was commuting in every day. He lived in a very small town called Grant, Michigan. And where I'm from, I graduated with a class of like 700 kids, and he graduated with like 100.
Where are you from, Janelle? Where did you graduate from?
I graduated from Rockford.
Okay. Go Rams.
Yep. Go Rams. Yeah. So we just worked a summer together, and I really wasn't looking for anything, and I don't even know if Trent was at the time.
But I mean, it's a long story. I mean, we're not trying to we won't try to digress, but it's such a long story because it was the way fate brought us together, because she had just graduated college, and so she had like no debt, and she was just kind of working a bartending job trying to figure it out. And I had just written a book, and I made a little bit of money off the book, so I ran to Argentina, and I had a really bad problem in Patagonia. So when I came back, I kind of was trying to refine myself. So I went back to my local farm in Michigan. I hadn't been back to Michigan since the heart attack. So I went back. It was like 4 or 5 years after the heart attack. Went back. My doctor was all happy to see me. He was pretty pissed off about Argentina. And then so after he was after he worked on me, and then I took some money and I invested into hops. So I thought I was going to start hops on our farm and save the farm. That was a long story, but I ran out of money, so I had to find a job, and the only job within 1 hour, I was driving an hour every day just because there was this high-end restaurant on the water, which is what I was used to working in Yellowstone. And so it was the best money. I drove down there. I walk in, and day one, Janelle was a little trainer girl. Everyone told me to stay away. And we had a long romantic summer, and we had to take this crazy trip to California to embed it. And then when we got back, I got fired. And I literally looked at Janelle, and I said, she said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Montana." I said, "You're welcome to come." And we had known each other for like 3 weeks. And at that point, I had burned all my bridges. I was like, "I'm done with the hop farm. I'm going to go to Montana, go fishing for 2 months. You're welcome to come with me." And I told her, actually, I said, "You'll know within like 2 days of living in the Explorer with me on the road if you want." Like you were saying earlier about being in a small spot. I literally told Janelle, I said, "Come to Montana with me, and you'll know if you hate me or not, and you can get on an airplane, come home whenever you want." And we took off. We've been together ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So Janelle, what did your parents think about all this?
Oh my God!
Especially if you just graduated college and you're like, screw it. Was it
Yes.
Rose's? Was it Rose's Diner? Is that where you guys met?
No, it wasn't Rose's Diner.
Rose's is on the river on in East Grand Rapids.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
it's the
Roses.
same.
No,
It's the same owners.
Same owners.
Which
it was Bostwick Lake Inn.
Oh, that's a great restaurant. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's crazy.
Yeah.
To hear that, you know, feel free to use those words because I know where it's at.
Yeah.
But what did your parents say? Janelle, you're going to take off with this serial killer? I mean, this guy, the stranger?
Yeah.
So, like Trent said, initially there was the trip to California, and that was kind of like, I'm not joking. I took off with Trent. We went to California for a long weekend, and I shut my phone off. I only told my older sister, and I was like, hey, Steph, I'm going with this guy. We're going to California for 3 days or 4 days or whatever. Don't tell Mom. And she's like, what do you mean don't tell Mom? And I was like, don't tell Mom. Like, nobody can know this is happening. Like, I just need this in my life. And she's like, you're crazy, Janelle. Like, what? You don't know him that well? And, like, at the time, I had already, I had worked with him for the summer, but, like, didn't really know him. So, no, that was initially when my sister was like, you're insane. Well, then I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to Montana for 2 months. See ya. And everybody was like, what are you doing with your life? I think my whole family actually thought I was going off the deep end. They seriously thought I was crazy. And I think they still kind of do, but...
They know you're not going to end up dead, probably.
No, exactly. At this point, I think they're finally, after 4 years, actually accepting the fact that this is how I want my life to be. But no, when I took off, they all were like, you're crazy. What are you doing? This is not, what you should be doing. But
I mean,
that's the best thing that's ever happened.
But any family that loves you, though, would, because I was living out of Explorer. If my daughter came home with some dude in an Explorer and said, we're going to go Montana fishing for 2 months, and a lot of people don't understand fly fishing. A lot of people don't understand, like, oh, so like when we tell tourists here in Key West, that's where we work now, people will be like, oh, so let me get this straight. You save up all your money and then you go blow it in a foreign country on fishing and then you come back broke. They don't. So it's kind of just hard to explain to people, I guess, where the passion comes from. But while you're young.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sailing culture. A lot of sailors do that too. They go into port, bartend for a while, and go back out to sea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you first started this whole journey, okay, you guys load up the Explorer, you're heading out to Montana, and you had just graduated college, Janelle. Did you kind of have this feeling toward corporate America, toward normal 9 to 5? Did you kind of have like a distaste for that? Like, no way, I'm going to totally embrace life and live it this way. When you first started the journey.
Yeah. So it's really hard to like explain how I was feeling because I went back and forth for a very long time. Like, I thought that corporate America is what I wanted in life, and I thought that was what was best for me. And then another part of me was like, no, you need to travel, and you need to see the world, and you need to not give in to, like, the societal norms. So, no, there was a lot of, like, oh, I'm so happy, like, life is so great, and this is amazing, and this is so fun, traveling and fly fishing, and just living. But then there's another part of me that's like, oh my God, like my future and like stabilization and all of that. So I went back and forth for a very long time. And I think finally I'm coming to terms with this is actually what I want with my life. And I guess like I've gotten the positive feedback for what we're doing now, like working seasonal jobs and then traveling in our off time. But then I've also gotten people that are like, what are you doing? Like, what does your future look like? What are your plans?
Right.
And no, like, I've learned to embrace all of it. But yeah, no, when I first started out, I was very skeptical of like the lifestyle that we were living because I was so not used to that. Like, my family is very go to school, get your degree, get a good job, work, retire, the whole thing.
Right.
So now it's like, I think that's where my family was like, oh my God, you're crazy.
Right.
But no, it's fun. I love it.
Some girl from Rockford, that's not normal for some girl in Rockford.
That's what I tell everybody.
No,
so
it's really not,
nobody knows what Rockford, Michigan is, but a lot of your listeners probably don't. But I tell everybody, like, I never thought my dream woman was working in Rockford, Michigan. Like I remember when I first walked into the Boswick Lake Inn for a job, and I said, "This is what my life has become." Like I don't know how. I mean, it was just by the fate of the universe, man. Because I'll never forget walking in there going, "This is how low." Because I just got. I mean, it was. And then there was Janelle, and I was like, that was the only good that came out of that place.
Wow, that's
I'm very happy. Yeah, it is.
But I will admit though, Rockford's got the Rogue River there, and that's quite a fishery. I enjoy fishing the Rogue quite a bit.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah,
definitely.
Rockford. I mean, they got the breweries and all that. I mean, there's a reason it's probably one of the number one. I mean, it is the number one suburb of Grand Rapids, in my opinion.
Yeah,
right.
The culture is unique though.
It is very unique.
I live in Hudsonville. I live in a cornfield.
Yeah.
And I have 2 boys and a wife, and we live in a very small house in a cornfield, and it's a very unique culture here in Hudsonville. And Hudsonville, some of our listeners don't know, Hudsonville and Rockford are kind of rivals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, it's kind of a little more progressive, I think, in Rockford than it is in Hudsonville. Hudsonville is very, very conservative. But either way, West Michigan is a very unique culture, and if you're not from here, it's kind of hard to explain. Like,
it is hard to explain.
I grew up in Houston. It's a very diverse community, and my dad, we're used to diversity. It's something that you just don't. If you're racist, you just don't have any friends. That's just how it is. And my father came up here. My father's 65, and he literally, we're at Meijer, which is a large grocery chain here. And he looked at me and he said, and it was very innocent, and everything. He goes, "Jeff, I seriously want to know how many miles away is the nearest black person." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "I just generally want to know because there's no, I haven't seen one since I've been here." And I was like, "Holy crap, we are not diverse at all in Hudsonville." And anyways. I mean, maybe I'll cut that out of the podcast, but it's
but it's so true.
That is kind of what we're talking about, though. Is like a lot of people don't understand. Like, Michigan's been blue a lot for a long time. It just turned red in the last election, but a lot of people don't understand that. Like, Michigan is everyone kind of considers it like New York and Vermont and all that. They kind of consider it, but Michigan, especially where I grew up, is very, very old farm. It's just that's not a bad
very
analogy.
Conservative, very traditional values, like pertaining to what we were talking about before, like go to school, get your degree, like have a family, not spread out, don't spread your wings, like stay where you're from, kind of thing, like very small-minded.
Right. It's different.
Yes.
Even my wife, she works outside the home, and she gets crap from some of her friends because they all stay home with their kids, and it's like we don't judge you for that. Like, if you choose to stay home with your kids or choose to do something different, that's your business, But it's just amazing. Like, even, I know this is kind of a rant for the potty. It has nothing to do with fly fishing, but even, like, education-wise, in Houston, I went to North Shore High School my senior year, which I was just happy every day if I didn't get shot, And here, they're yelling about which Christian school is better, and I'm like, the public schools are awesome. Like, but we homeschool, or it's just... It's a weird culture, but it's got to be cool to be out of that and traveling there. So what are you guys doing next? You guys are down in the Keys now, and you're living out of your van, correct?
No, we actually aren't living out of our van for the first time.
Janelle is pretty.
We're being adults.
No, you can hear it. You can hear it in Janelle's voice. We have our own studio apartment. It's the first time we paid rent like in 2 years. It's our own place. Janelle she feels like a queen in a castle.
Yes.
She feels like a queen in a castle in this little studio, which is nice because if you live out of Explorer for a long time, all you got to do is get your woman a studio apartment, and she's like, "Oh, look at that!"
So true.
Yeah.
So we're living in our little studio apartment. Like Trent said, for the first time, we are actually paying rent like adults, and just working. And then our next move, we're actually going to Argentina, which we're super excited about.
Big trip.
Now, didn't you just say you had some problems in Argentina?
No, I went years ago, and went years ago with a group of people, and we all kind of had a big falling out. Argentina is, I know what it's, I don't know if it's changed in 5 years, but 5 years ago, Argentina, I went with 4 of the fishiest people I know, and all 4 of us called it early. It was like, and everybody, it was just, unless you have them, like, I would go to New Zealand with a backpack. I would go to Europe with a backpack. I would never go to Argentina with a backpack and try to go fishing. I mean, this time down, I mean, me and Janelle, we're going to do it right, but I mean, it's not. I mean, it's just the language barrier. We don't know Spanish. It's the poverty rate is like 40%. Their economy. I mean, I love Argentinian politics, but I mean, it is a crazy country. They are always one step away from being Venezuela. I mean, it is just it's a different world and rule. There's a place called Bariloche, just north of Bariloche is the lakes regions. I would say 95% of people that go there to go fishing go to that area, and then there's a whole world of Patagonia that is very remote still to this day. And I mean, it's just difficult. It's a difficult time. I had some health problems. We took a raft down a river that we shouldn't have taken. We got wrecked in a rapid. Had to be saved by the military. I got very, very sick. Had to get flown back to Miami. It was not fun. It was not fun. Argentina scared the shit out of me. I never thought we'd go back. I never thought I'd go back. I was so scared by it. But then I met Janelle. Janelle deserves to go down there. So we're getting ready for it right now.
That sounds. You don't get those stories in a cubicle,
No. No.
The other one of the stories I wanted to ask you about, Trent, was getting robbed and left for dead in Mexico.
Yeah, it was San Diego. My best friend. He's not my best friend anymore. I haven't seen him. I'm gonna knock him out if I ever see him again. I've said, but
was he the guy in Mexico that robbed you?
No, we were. He was a. I don't know. He had some shit from his past, some court cases. I didn't know this. We were whitewater raft guides all season. We were best friends. I was working in Colorado as a ski bum, and then I always said, so that was part of the book one year, and I always said during that. So I got my heart attack like on February 11th, and I said when I left the hospital, I said I'm never going to say no to an adventure. So I was like bartending that December. I was in Colorado at Breckenridge Ski Resort. My buddy that had been a whitewater raft guide, he came through town. He had this great idea. We're going to go to Cabo, the surfing tournament, yada yada yada. I didn't know he was jumping the country. I didn't know he had some legal issues. I don't know what he was. I think he was doing some drugs, like not like heroin or anything like that. Just your psychedelics. And I think he was just ready to go jump ship, get out of America. He wanted to go down to Costa Rica, be a whitewater raft. He had like this whole plan. And so we went down to San Diego. He didn't have his passport. Gave me the runaround. His mom was going to send him some money. And then one day we got drunk with a buddy in town that I knew. And I woke up in the morning in my buddy's apartment, and we couldn't find the dude everywhere. I went to every hospital, called every cop. Then there was actually a cop who was like, "Are you sure your friend didn't rob you?" And then it kind of really hit me. And then I got a hold of him, and he kind of gave me an excuse that he was going to come back, and then took all my money, all my stuff, and I never heard from him again. Said he was in a bad place and in the desert. He was going to come back and get me. And then he just kind of left me in San Diego. My buddy was in no position to let me. I didn't know anybody, my man. And I was just like, "Are you shitting me?" Here I was. And then my appendix burst. So then I was in a hospital. And with my heart surgery, it's like, I can't, it's hard to have surgery with this machine I have in my heart. I mean, it was just pain in the ass, man. Pain in my ass.
But you still have both kidneys.
Yeah, I just lost the appendix.
Okay. I didn't know if you woke up in Mexico in a swimming pool of ice.
Yeah. Well, they would have paid me.
Soldier organ.
If they would have paid me for the kidney, I would have been in a better spot, though.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Anyways, well, I tell you what, we're going to share your links to your Instagram page. And what's next for the Bum Diary? Are you guys just going to kind of keep bumming around, or do you want to make this? Do you guys want to write a book, or you want to take photographs to do something, or are you kind of pretty content with the way things are going?
Right now we're pretty content with the way things are going. Who knows what the future holds, for sure. I think right now we're kind of creating our own life story in general, which is kind of what the Bum Diary is all about. It's about kind of creating our own life path and doing things against the grain, which is kind of what we're trying to promote. We're trying to inspire people to have, do what they want in life and be happy and follow their passions, which obviously we've conveyed that fly fishing is our big passion. So that's what we're doing, and
the Bum
that's
Diary.
What we love.
The Bum Diary is real weird because people will ask us, like, what is the Bum Diary? And it's like, it's not a company. It's not like a website. Like, now we have a podcast, which is probably our most successful thing that we've done. But, like, we posted on Instagram 3 times last year. So we're not, like, sponsored. We're not trying to get sponsored. it was like really like when me and Janelle, you asked earlier about our parents. Like really when we got down to Florida after we went to Montana, we went down to Florida for our first ever seasonal job together, and we were in this Explorer, and I think her parents were so worried about her that I told her, I said, well, it's just hard for us to call everybody because there's always 1,000 people that want to talk to you and ask you how it's going. So that was Facebook had just invented Facebook Live. So there was like this little red button that Facebook was blinking in front of you, and all you had to do was push that red button and talk. It was so easy. Even us lazy would do it. And so we started doing Facebook Live videos, and we had a buddy who's a really big entrepreneur. He's way better off in the technology world. And he said, you guys should do this on a page. And everyone called us bums forever. That's what people go, you guys are just bums. So we just called it the Bum Diary, and it strictly still is. I mean, it was just a way to document for our friends and family what we're doing. And then we got to podcasting because it was just kind of easy. That was the easiest way just to get across our what we do every week. And then that's just kind of what it is. We really don't have a goal. I don't know. We should probably get better at it. But we just aren't.
We talk about this often.
We just aren't, man. Like right now we're focused on Argentina for 2 months, and we go back to Montana to save money for the next journey. Well, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Janelle wants to have kids, so we should probably start figuring that out someday. But I don't know when.
Yeah. That's another adventure. You're telling me about, getting robbed in Mexico, and I can tell you about waking up at 4 a.m. with crap all over the room, Yeah. I mean, it's a journey you can only get by parenting. And that's kind of an extreme example. But, it's a whole nother adventure, and I'm very excited for you guys. And I just want to tell you both from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much just for hanging out with me tonight. And we'll be sure to put up some links to everything. And you said this book is out of publication, so I'm going to hang on to it and then make sure I get a lot of money from it. Like, you guys come out with a Bum Diary.
If I ever get famous, man, that book would probably be like one of those really rare things.
Yeah,
and we appreciate it too, man. We'll be back from Argentina. We'll be back in the Rockford area, so maybe we'll have to sit down and tell you how it went.
Yeah. Sit down, maybe do a live podcast or something too. It'd be great. So.
Oh yeah, we might enjoy that. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Trent. Thank you, Janelle, and safe travels.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was nice talking to you.
You too. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Bill.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure.
I enjoy just your presence.
Oh.
We don't hang out as much as we should.
I know.
We only hang out to record and do the podcasting thing.
I know.
But you're newlywed, man.
I know.
And I'm an oldly wed.
Oldly wed. Is
and
that a word?
I don't know. That's what we do here. Just create stuff. Ignorant things on the podcast. But I appreciate you hanging out. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Bill, do you have any news for our audience today?
No news is good news.
No news is good news. So be sure to check us out at remotenopressure.com. Check out our socials. As we're trying to get to 10,000 followers on Instagram, that's our goal this year. Be sure to check out the Instagram, our Facebook, and all the other wonderful social media things. And until next time, go fishing.